Good morning. Here in Hillsboro, we're having thunderstorms and rain, but it's nice and comfy inside. And it's another blessed day because the Lord is the Lord. This is the day the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. I want to talk to you about a story this morning that we all know, the story of Lazarus, Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. But just as we do, we begin talking about things before we know the full purpose and answer of things. And that's what happens here. Not able to read you the whole 11th chapter of the Gospel of John, but I'm going to read you bits and pieces of it here. Jesus waited 4 days before he went. The reason he waited 4 days was that's when they knew for sure a person was dead. After 4 days, he was considered dead. And so Jesus waited to the fourth day to get there. So they would know that he's not just healing someone of a sickness, he is taking it a step forward and raising someone from the dead. Now listen to the story. Jesus arrives and Martha said to Jesus, "If you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask." And Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." Martha answered, "I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day." And Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection, and I am life. He who believes in me will live, even though he dies, and whoever lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this?" "Yes, Lord," she told him, "I believe that you're the Christ, the Son of God, who was to come into the world." And then Jesus, after seeing Martha, goes to Mary. And basically the same story is happening and going on. And let's read the last bit of the story. Jesus, once more moved deeply, came to the tomb. It was a cave with a stone rolled across the entrance. "Take away the stone," he said. "But Lord," said Martha, the sister of the dead man, "by this time there is a bad odor, and he has been there 4 days." Then Jesus says, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you would see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone. Then Jesus looked up and said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I know that you always hear me. But I said this for the benefit of the people standing here, that they may believe that you sent me." When he had said this, Jesus called in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out!" The dead man came out, his hands and feet wrapped with strips of linen and a cloth around his face. And Jesus said to him, "Take away the grave clothes and let him go." Marvelous story, wonderful story. But see, Jesus here, he's not about healing the sick. He's about raising the dead. He wants his disciples, he wants the people who've been following him to know who he is. So he waited till they knew for sure he was dead. He waited till there would be a bad odor coming out of that cave once they rolled the stone away from it. He waited. And when he gets there, Martha tells him, "Lord, if you'd have been here, if you'd have just been here, you could have kept him from dying." And Jesus said, "Well, your brother's going to live again." "Well, I know that. On the day of resurrection, he'll come forth." No. This is what you need to understand, Martha. This is what you need to understand, Mary. I am the resurrection. I am the resurrection. I am the life, and he who believes in me will live. Say, Jesus is the Messiah. And he came to bring new life to the people of Israel and to anyone who would believe in him. And at that moment of belief, all things become possible. And Jesus says that. And the disciples asked him, said, Lord, how is this possible? Jesus says, all things are possible with God. So here we are, the resurrection and the life. And he says, Lazarus, come out. And Lazarus got up and kind of came out with all the linen wrapped around him and everything else. And Jesus says, unwrap him and let him go. Why? Because Jesus is the resurrection and the life. And he wants us to know that and understand that. May you have a blessed day. Amen.